And in pharmacy school, I don't know about Janet, I can't speak for her, but I had a 1 hour lecture, a 50-minute lecture on hormones. That's all I had. And pretty much the stuff that we talked about being bad, Premarin and medroxyprogesterone acetate, that's what I learned. Why? Because Premarin is the biggest hormone selling drug of all time ever. It came out in 1947. And that reminds me, too. Here's another thing, too. The FDA, with this ruling, they also said they're going to approve another generic Premarin, which there was one approved in the 1990s, and I thought it went off the market. And it was just called conjugated equine estrogen, equine for horse estrogen, conjugated because there's at least 19 different estrogens that we know of in the combination of the horse pea, but some of them that we don't know of. So that brings up the question, why have we never really had a true, in pharmacy, we call it AB rated generic of Premarin? Here's why. Because we don't even know what's in it. That's why they can't copy. That's why it can't be copied. That's why there's never been a generic. That's why it's been $1 billion drug for many years, because there's no generic available. And there, even if they do approve a generic, it's not going to be the same as Premarin. Because think about this. We are taking urine from multiple different horses and standardizing it to an estradiol-estrone ratio. The other estrogens that are in there, we don't know. We do know there's some in there, but we don't put a ratio in there to standardize them with. So how are we going to make a generic Premarin? We can't. If you don't know what's in it, you can't make a generic of it. Beautiful, beautiful business model for the drug company. But it'll be interesting to see what the generic really is. Either way, I would not recommend ever taking Premarin or the generic of it, which is conjugated equine estrogen. It's horse pea.
Especially when we have estradiol available commercially in oral and vaginal. So there's no reason for that. And if your provider's prescribing that, ask for him to change it to something else, because I would never personally take it. I think it's inhumane. They take a pregnant mare and they extract her urine and then they abort it and pregnant her, and it's not even made. It's not even allowed in the United States. It's brought in from Canada. So why would we do this? I think that in itself is just a farce. But we never talk about the ethics of that one, right?